So we're gonna start in a seated position, hands are on our knees. We're gonna close our eyes and just take a few inhales and exhales through our nose. We're gonna try to arrive on our mat in the present moment. Maybe you want to set an intention for your practice today. And just try to calm down a little bit. Try to be here in the now. We're going to take 3 deep breaths together. We're going to take a deep inhale through our nose, reach our arms up towards the sky. And exhale, arms come down in front of our chest. 2 more times, deep inhale, arms up, come up. And exhale. Last time together, deep inhale, arms reach up. And exhale through your nose. You're slowly gonna come onto all fours position. Try to put your hips above your knees, shoulders are above the wrists. And we're gonna start with a very simple cat and cow stretch. So on every inhale, we're gonna come up into cow, we're gonna roll our spine, open our chest. And on every exhale, we're gonna come into cat. Tuck your tailbone in. Inhale, we roll ourselves up. Deep breath. And exhale, we tuck ourselves in, roll our spine. One more time, deep breath. And exhale. Now we're gonna tuck our toes, push a little bit back, and step with our right foot next to our right hand. We're gonna come down with our knee again. And now we're just going to start to make a few circles with our hip in one direction or the other, doesn't matter. Just do what feels good for you right now. Try to listen to your own body. Feel how your hip is starting to open up a little bit, get more flexible. And maybe you want to try to make the circles a little bit bigger. Slowly start to get slower again. And on our next exhale, we're going to come back into our all fours position. 1 cat and cow in between. Inhale, our chest reaches towards the front of the mat. And exhale, we look towards our belly. Come back to neutral, tuck our toes again, push a little bit back, and step with the left foot to the front of the mat. Knee comes down, and we're going to start to circle with the left hip. Feel the movement of your girdle, of the hip. Nice stretch. Slower again, and we're going to step with our next exhale back into all fours position. 1 more cat and cow stretch. Inhale, we reach up, and exhale, we tuck in. We're going to start to make the movement a little bit bigger, so we're going to tuck our toes, and on our exhale, we're going to push back in our first downward facing dog. Our knees can still be bent. And on our inhale, we're going to roll ourselves to the front in a plank position. Exhale, we push back. And inhale, we roll ourselves to the front. Shoulders are stacked on top of our wrist. Exhale, we push back. And inhale, we come to the front. You're gonna stay in this plank position and just slowly rock back and forth on your toes. Feel the strength in your arms, the movement of your ankles. Perfect. One last time. On our next exhale, we're gonna come up with our hips and back into our first proper downward facing dog. Maybe you wanna walk out your dog. You can bend one knee at a time. Push your hands strong into the mat. Fingers point towards the front of the mat. Lift our hips up. And take 3 deep breaths here. Try to feel the lengthening of your spine, the lengthening of your hamstrings. And then very slowly we're gonna come to the front of our mat. With an exhale, we're gonna come into forward fold. You can still micro bend your knees if you want. Try to flex or try to bend yourself at the hip. And then with our next inhale, we're gonna roll ourselves up to a standing position. Arms reach up, deep inhale, and exhale, hands in prayer position. Our feet are strong in our mat, we're in a mountain pose, legs are strong. You can close your eyes if you want. And maybe you want to refocus on the attention that you may have set at the beginning of the class. On our next inhale, we're going to reach our arms up towards the sky. And exhale, we come into a forward fold. Inhale, flat back, hands are on the shins. And exhale, we step back into our plank position. We're going to do your version of the chaturanga. Knees can be up or down. Arms are close to the torso. And exhale, we come down. Inhale, we roll our shoulders back and down into our upward facing dog. Try to lift the knees off the floor. Deep breath here. And exhale, we push our hips up and back into our downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Maybe you want to walk your dog once again, or you can just stay as it is. Deep breath. On our next inhale, we're going to step to the front with our right leg in between your hands. And we're going to come up into high lunge. We're going to flip our back foot 45 degrees and come into warrior one. So we try to realign our hip to the front of the mat. Arms are strong towards the sky. Knees above the ankle. And we feel the strength of this position of warrior one. We're going to add a little bit of movement. So on every exhale, we're going to come with our arms into cactus arms. So strong arms onto the side. And inhale, reach up again. Exhale, we open up our chest. Arms are strong on the side. And inhale, we reach up. Deep in exhale, we come down. Inhale, we come up. One last time. Exhale, we come down. We open up our chest towards the sky. And exhale, come up. We slowly come down with our hands and step back into our downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. And on our next exhale, we're gonna reach up with our left leg and step in between our hands. Come up into high lunge. Try to realign our knee above our ankle. Our hips are squared towards the short end of the mat. Arms are strong. And we're going to flip our back foot 45 degrees into our warrior one. Maybe you want to try to push the left hip a little bit to the back into its socket. And on our next exhale, we're going to add some movement again. So exhale, we come into our cactus arms, strong arms, elbows towards the side. And inhale, we reach up again. Exhale, open up. And inhale. Exhale, arms come to the side. Feel the opening. And inhale. One last time. Exhale. Inhale. Slowly come down with our arms. And step back into our downward facing dog. Walk the dog out if you want to. Try to really push your hands strong into the mat, elbows point towards the outside. And try to lift your shoulders away from your ears. One last breath here. Slowly walk to the front of our mat. Exhale, we come into forward fold. Maybe you want to start to lengthen your legs a little bit more. And inhale, we slowly roll ourselves up to a standing position. Arms reach up towards the sky, mountain pose. And exhale, hands come in prayer position. We're going to take this pose once again to reassess. You can feel a difference in our body already. We're still focused on our intention. But just to see how we feel right now. On our next inhale, we're going to reach the arms up towards the sky again. And exhale, we come down into our forward fold. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, we step back into our plank pose. Stay here strong. On our next exhale, we're going to come into chaturanga. Knees can be up or down. Our arms are closed towards the torso. And inhale, we come up into our upward facing dog. Perfect. We roll our shoulders back and down. And we look forward. One last inhale here. And exhale, we push our hips up and back into our downward facing dog. Deep breath here. Maybe you want to start to push your back heels towards the mat very slowly. One last breath. On our next inhale, we're going to reach our right leg up towards the sky and step in between our hands. Next inhale, we're going to come up with our arms into high lunge. And this time we're going to flip our back foot 90 degrees. So we're going to come into our warrior two. Our front knee is above our ankle. Front foot towards the front of the mat. We open up our right hip. And we feel the position. Arms are strong on the side. And if you want, you can slowly start looking over your fingers to the front of the mat. One breath here. On our next exhale, we're going to come with our right arm down onto our right thigh. And we're going to reach our left arm up and over our head into extended side angle. Arm is strong. Try to find one long line all the way from our foot to our hand. And try to not put too much weight onto your arm. Try to really engage your core here. Feel the position. On our next exhale, we're going to come back into warrior two. We're going to take our left arm, swing towards the front into our high lunge, back foot turns to the front. And exhale, we come down. We stay here. And on our next exhale, we're going to take the right arm and reach up and twist open towards the right side. Arm reaches up towards the sky. Deep breath here. Feel a lengthening of your spine, twist. And slowly we come down with our arms. Step back into our downward facing dog. Stay here for one long breath. And on our next exhale, we're going to hop to the front of our mat with both our feet next to our hands. So you want to bend your knees and exhale step to the front. And then we're gonna try to stay low here. Try to open up your feet to the outside of the mat. And we're gonna try to take our elbows and push them against our knees, open up in prayer position. If this is really difficult for you, you can also come a bit up. Feel the opening of your hip. Maybe you want to take one arm down against your knee and open up to the left side. One breath. Exhale, we come down, back to center, and switch to the other side. So left arm comes up against the left knee, and we open up. One breath here. Slowly we come back. Take our hands to the mat again, and slowly we step back into our plank position. Your version of the Chaturanga. Exhale, come down, and inhale. Transition into your upward facing dog. Shoulders come back and down. Try to open up your chest. And exhale, we push our hips back and down into our downward facing dog. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So left leg reaches up towards the sky. And on our next exhale, we're gonna step in between our hands. Arms reach up, high lunge. And on our next exhale, we're gonna flip our back foot 90 degrees. Our front knee points towards the front of the mat. Perfect. Arms are strong on the side. And we imagine as if we had a wall coming from the back and from the front. Try to realign ourselves. Strong position here. And if you want, you can slowly look over your left hand to the front of the mat. One last breath here. And on our next exhale, we're going to come down with our left arm onto our left thigh and reach our right arm over our head. Strong arm. Once again, try to engage your core here. Feel the lengthening, the opening of your right side of the rib cage. Slowly we come back to our warrior two. And on our next exhale, we're going to swing the right arm to the front of the mat position and come down with our arms. One deep inhale here. And on our next exhale, we're going to twist ourselves open to the left side. Left arm reaches up towards the sky. We push ourselves away from our shoulder. Strong arms, strong legs. One last breath here. And then slowly we come back down. Step back into our downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Try to realign yourself. Maybe you can feel the difference between the right side and the left side. Try to really push your hips, your shoulders open. On our next exhale, we're gonna slowly bend our knees and hop to the front of our mat. Legs are wide open. Come into our prayer position once again. And next up, if you want to, you can try to come with me into crow pose. For that, we're gonna take our hands shoulder width apart in front of us. Our feet are right behind our hands. And then very slowly, we're gonna try to get our knees onto our upper arms and slowly transition the weight a little bit to the front. You can slowly just come back and forth if you want to. And once you feel comfortable, you can start lifting one foot or maybe even both feet. Try to focus on a point in front of you. Arms are strong. And once you feel comfortable, you can try to hold here for a few seconds. Lift your knees up, perfect. Feel the strength of the position. Engage your core, your arms. One last breath here. And we slowly come back down. Feet are wide again. Exhale, hands come in prayer position. Deep breath, great. And then very slowly we're gonna come through our goddess pose into a standing pose. So we're gonna very slowly come up. Maybe you wanna widen your feet a little bit. Stay here for one breath. Try to rise up with your spine, lengthen it up towards the sky. Last breath here. And then we slowly push our way all the way up to a standing position. Feet come hip width apart again. Deep inhale. And exhale, hands in prayer position. Inhale, we're going to reach our arms up towards the sky. And exhale, come into forward fold. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, we step back into our last plank position. And then slowly we're going to lower our whole body down towards the floor. All the way into a lying position. Lengthen your legs. We make a circle with our arms. Arms come underneath our chest. And on our next exhale, we're going to roll our shoulders back and down. Try to really reach your shoulder blades down towards your butt. We're going to come into mini cobra. Hold here for one more breath. And exhale, we come down. Maybe you want to put your forehead onto the mat. One breath here. And on our next exhale, we're gonna come into the same position one more time. So exhale, we're gonna roll our shoulders up and down to the back. Feel the opening of your front side. Feel the engagement of your back muscles. And exhale, we're gonna come down again. One breath here. And very slowly, we're gonna tuck our toes. We're gonna come up with our butt towards the air. And we're gonna push ourselves back and down into our child position. Knees are open, feet, toes are together. And you just slowly transition. And let yourself release, let your torso release in between your thighs. Arms are strong and long towards the front of the mat. Maybe you want to put your forehead onto the mat. Feel the lengthening. One breath here. And then we slowly roll ourselves up onto our knees. We're going to do one last back bend and then transition into our final pose. So we're going to come up onto our knees. Our hips are above our knees. We're going to take our hands onto our lower back, roll our shoulders back, and on our next exhale we're going to slowly start to come into our back bend, into our version of the camel pose. You can reach your head to the back. One breath here. Slowly come back up. I'm going to do the same thing one more time. Deep breath. Deep inhale. And on your exhale, you're going to push your hips towards the front. You're going to come slowly into your back bend. Open up your chest. And if you want to, you can even deepen the pose by slowly putting your hands lower towards the floor, towards your ankles, into full camel pose. Try to really push your hips towards the front. Feel the opening after we've worked the core so much today. last breath here. And very slowly we're going to come out of the position the same way as we came into it. So we're going to put our hands back, turn the lower back again, and then very slowly come back up into standing position. Lower ourselves down. And maybe you want to come into another child pose to lengthen your spine. Really feel the stretch. One last breath. And then very slowly we're going to take our legs to the front of the mat, come into a seated position. And vertebra by vertebra, we're going to roll ourselves down into a lying position. Our arms come towards the side. Legs are long. We're going to bend the right knee. And very slowly, maybe you can feel the twist. Maybe you want to deepen your breath towards the belly. If you want to deepen the twist a bit more, you can also put your left hand onto the right knee. Put a little bit of weight on it. And feel how every inhale and exhale gives a little massage to our organs. How it detoxifies. Slowly we come back to center. Lengthen our right leg towards the floor. Bend the left knee. And slowly transition into the twist on the left side. So our left knee comes to the right. Either stay here, or if you want to deepen the stretch, you can also put your right arm onto the thigh. Give a little bit of weight on it. And try to keep your left shoulder on the floor at the same time. Once again, we try to really focus on our breath here. Focus what it does to our organs, how this twist feels inside of you. One last breath. Slowly come back to center. Maybe you want to give yourself one last hug. Tuck your knees in. Squeeze your thigh. And on your next exhale, we're going to transition into our final pose, into savasana. Arms are on the side, next to your body, arms face towards the sky. Legs can fall open. Close your eyes. And start focusing how your breath becomes deeper and slower. How with every breath, with every exhale, you let go of anything that no longer serves you. And with every inhale, you get more energy for your body. How with every exhale, your body becomes a bit more heavy, how your limbs sink into the floor, into your mat. And how you manage to just fully relax every single muscle in your body. Starting from your toes and your feet, to your ankles and calf muscles. Just try to let go. Focus on your thighs and hips, on your lower back, how it sinks into the mat, your belly and your chest. go of your shoulders, of any tensions that may still be there. Your arms, your hands, every single one of your fingers. Maybe you also feel how your neck releases any tensions. And then we try to relax our face, our jaw, or in between our eyebrows. Our mouth and even our eyes. Just try to feel how your whole body is relaxed now. And then very slowly you're going to come back into the present moment, into your body, and start moving your toes and your fingers a little bit. You can start circling your wrists and your ankles if you want to, or stretch your arms over your head. Just do what feels good for you right now. Listen to your own body, what it tells you to do. And then very slowly find your way back into a seated position. We're going to take one last breath together. Take a deep inhale, reach our arms up towards the sky. And exhale, arms come in front of our chest, in front of our heart. And we bow to ourselves and say thank you for taking the time today. Take the time for yourself, for the practice. Namaste. And thank you for joining me.